What if I told you that option assignment is not based on when you opened your position or when you sold your contract, it's not based on how deep in the money you are, and it's not even controlled by your broker? In this video, we're breaking down the top 7 myths regarding options assignment, and I'll share with you the actual mechanical way in which assignments are conducted. Myth number 1. Only options contracts held until expiration can get assigned. Remember that the option buyer has a right, but not an obligation, to buy or sell 100 shares, depending on if it's a call option or a put option. And by extension, option sellers have an obligation. The contract is not based on at expiration. Most options contracts are known as American-style options, which means that the option buyer at any point during the contract timeframe can request early assignment. And honestly, that can happen for a variety of different reasons. It could be due to a dividend stock that's about to hit their ex-dividend date and somebody really wants to own that stock. It could also be because the price of a stock or ETF is plunging and an option buyer really wants to unload their stock shares. But the key thing to remember here is, even though it might not be common, early assignment can occur on most stocks or ETFs traded by investors. Myth number 2. You can only be assigned on in-the-money options contracts. Wrong again, though this can get a little bit convoluted. Really, to understand this, you need to understand how the option assignment process works. Option buyers initiate the assignment request. They exercise their option contract. When that happens, all of the collective different assignment requests from all the different brokers out there all collectively come to the Options Clearing Corporation, known as the OCC. They then collect all of them. Let's say there's 100 contracts that are requested assignment for a specific strike price. They then turn around and look back at all the different brokers and say, well, how many different option sellers, how many short contracts does Fidelity have? How many does Schwab have? How many does Robinhood, Public, Tasty Trade, etc.? They then allocate all of those different assignment requests proportionally to the different brokers based on how many option sellers they have or how many short contracts they have. Then once those assignment requests have made it back to the broker level, they then are, in most cases, with most retail investors, randomly assigned out to different investors. So if option seller A has 1 contract outstanding, 1 sold contract, and option seller B also has 1 contract, they have an equal risk of being assigned on their contract, but maybe, depending on how many contracts need to be assigned that day, maybe only one of them gets assigned and the other doesn't. And technically, since this is a randomized process, option seller A may be deeper in the money and not get assigned, whereas option seller B may be only in the money by 5 cents and they do get assigned. And in theory, depending on how many contracts come to a specific brokerage, it is possible that you could be just slightly outside the money and still get assigned, though it's very unlikely. I can tell you that personally, I've never been assigned on a contract that was out of the money, but I have had contracts that were right at the money that I did get assigned on, and a few that were in the money by only 1 or 2 cents that I didn't get assigned on. Hey guys, just a quick note here. We're talking about myths regarding options assignments, and there's plenty of content out there on YouTube, but if you want to level up your knowledge and experience, make sure to check out the Average Joe Investor Income Academy. You get access to an amazing community of over 100 different income investors. You get access to me through office hours and live trading every single day of the week. Get access to an amazing Introduction to Options course, which gives you everything you need to know as a foundation for options trading, and we're currently working on the Option Sellers Academy as well. If you're interested in learning more, check out the link down in the description below. Myth number 3. There is no assignment risk on spreads. And this really relates back to what I just talked about, the options assignment process. The Options Clearing Corporation, OCC, really doesn't see how many people are holding spreads versus just cash secured puts versus just covered calls, shorts or puts, etc., or how many are in like an iron condor or a butterfly spread. Doesn't matter. All they see is the number of options contracts. As a result, any type of spread contract, whether it's a credit spread, whether it's an iron condor, whether it's a butterfly, doesn't matter. If your short strike is in the money, you're at risk of assignment, especially the closer you get to expiration. Myth number 4. If the price is right at the money or right at the strike price, then you're not going to get assigned. This is not true because remember, assignment begins at the option holder level. And technically, an option holder can request to not be assigned on a contract, even though it's in the money. And this might likely occur because it's in the money just by a few cents as opposed to significantly in the money. And again, at the end of the day, it's based on how many contracts come over to the OCC requesting assignment for any given expiration on any given day. They are then proportionally passed out to all the different brokers. It could be that an at-the-money contract does get assigned based on that randomized process we talked about, and it could be for a different seller that does not get assigned at the money. And of course, we know that prices fluctuate after hours, and there is a time frame. I'm surprised I haven't brought this up yet. There's a time frame by which you can no longer manage your contract. That's 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for most standard stocks and ETFs, excluding QQQ, SPY, and IWM. However, option holders have more time to request assignment. Every broker is a little bit different, but most of the time that cutoff time is 5:30 Eastern Time or 90 minutes after the market closes, especially if there is big market news that could happen, like an earnings report after hours. You really, as the option seller, have a cutoff to your time that is exceeded by the time that the option holder can request assignment. So if you're close to being in the money, close to expiration, it would behoove you. It would make a lot of sense as the option seller to close that contract early rather than take on the pin risk or the chance that that contract could go in the money or out of the money at the very last second, or that assignment could occur based on after hours prices movement. In fact, you could see a stock that closes at 4 p.m. out of the money. Take, for example, NVIDIA, and then the earnings comes out and then the stock spikes in value. And so then that call option might get assigned when you thought it wasn't going to be assigned. Myth number 5, assignment occurs right at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This kind of follows off of what we were just talking about, which is assignment doesn't occur at one specific time. It's a process, a time frame that occurs up until a cutoff, usually around 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, or about an hour and a half after the market closes. At any point during that time, the option holder, or for all the contracts out there, could request assignment. And a lot of things could affect that, including the after hours price movement of a stock, which could be significantly changed or altered based on earnings or any other positive or negative news that could occur. Myth number 6, early assignment doesn't occur. Of course it does. We already talked about this a little bit in the beginning. Early assignment is possible with American style options and can occur, even though it's uncommon, depending on different circumstances. Primarily, like I said, with dividend stocks and an ex-dividend date. It could also be more likely if market sentiment changes and we maybe enter a significant bull market or any type of black swan event where people really want to unload their stocks. It would be fair to say that early assignment is less common, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen at all. Myth number 7, if my option holder requests assignment, then I will get assigned. This is not correct because there is not this one-to-one relationship between the option buyer and the option seller, even though in many cases we talk about or educate based on that analogy. Remember that when an option contract is created between an option buyer and an option seller, then it's out there in the marketplace. And once that contract is out there, remember the OCC, the Options Clearing Corporation, they see from a firm level, from a brokerage level, the amount of long contracts or contracts owned by option buyers and the amount of contracts that are sold or short contracts. So you are not connected at any given time after that contract is created with any specific option buyer or any option seller. It's all a randomized process that occurs based on the assignment request that could occur. If you're an option seller, you don't have a specific option buyer out there that's causing you to get assigned. And on the flip side, if it's the option buyer, you're not forcing assignment on a specific option seller. It's a randomized process that flows up from the firm level to the OCC and then back down to the different brokerages based on that brokerage's percentage or allocation of the short contracts, and then it's randomized from that point. Hopefully you found some value out of this video, guys. Make sure to leave your 2 cents down in the comments below. It's my goal to respond to as many of those comments as possible on the day I post a new video. That's all I got for you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching.